What were MLK Jr. sit-ins and how did they work? Imagine sitting peacefully at a lunch counter, knowing you might get arrested just for trying to be treated equally. That was the idea behind Martin Luther King Jr.'s sit-ins. These protests were a way for Black Americans to challenge unfair segregation laws without violence. The first sit-in started in February 1960 when, for students from North Carolina, A&T State University sat at a Woolworth's lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. They asked to be served but were refused because of their race. Instead of leaving, they stayed seated until the store closed. The next day, more students joined them, and they repeated the act. This simple but powerful act spread quickly to other cities and states. Thousands of students and activists began sitting at segregated lunch counters to protest Jim Crow laws, which kept Black Americans separate from white Americans in public places. Martin Luther King Jr. supported these sit-ins and took part in them. In October 1960, he and 51 others sat at a segregated lunch counter in Atlanta. They refused to leave, and many were arrested. King saw sit-ins as a peaceful way to show the injustice of segregation to the public. These protests disrupted normal business at segregated places, making them lose money. For example, Woolworths in Greensboro lost a lot of revenue because of the sit-ins and boycotts. This economic pressure helped push stores to desegregate their lunch counters by July 1960. The sit-in movement inspired similar actions across the South, like the Nashville sit-ins led by Reverend James Lawson Jr. These efforts kept pushing for civil rights and desegregation. Martin Luther King Jr. believed that nonviolent protests like sit-ins could change hearts and minds. His speeches, including one called A Creative Protest, encouraged others to use sit-ins to fight racial discrimination peacefully. These sit-ins worked by drawing attention to racial injustice, hurting the profits of segregated businesses, and inspiring more people to join the fight. They played a big role in helping to end segregation in many public places. Overall, MLK Jr.'s support for sit-ins helped connect young students with the larger civil rights movement, showing that peaceful protests could make a real difference.